The adornment of the shaitan to the people for evil and things like this. The question is that it seems like to be more than the whisper or the waswas, which is of course true. This is more deceiving, but it's also part of the waswas. The waswas is that he would adorn the evil for the person. That's what the waswas is. If the shaitan comes and he says to a person, "Do evil," like then a person would not do it. He can do that to some people, yes, but he takes khutuwat. And part of that is he's every time this is his work. He's always have to adorn the evil, even if it's adorning something good, but it takes him away from what is better. That's adorning some level of evil for the person. Instead of going to pray with the people, just pray home. It's more khushu' there like this. And he would adorn the goodness that it sounds like it's good, but he makes him turn away from the Prophet ﷺ step by step like this. So to protect oneself from that, which is again, yes, it's very difficult, and it's mentioned in the Quran, is the ilm, is the knowledge of the ways of shaitan, is to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of shaitan, and to know his ways. And that's why if we know that the sunnah is this way, and the shaitan is coming to take us away from it, no, this is shaitan. This is not a good thing. This is not based on the ilm. And that's why in times of fitan, the ilm becomes obligatory upon people to a certain extent, more than when everything is healthy and everything is good. Because they're now exposed to all kinds of things, like shubuhat, for example, doubts and matters of the religion. In certain situations, people don't have to learn about these things, but when they get already exposed to it, then the knowledge to push that away becomes an obligation. So the ilm is the way, is the cure to this, and the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every step of shaitan, there is something to combat this with matters of ilm. Like as we talked about the khutwat of the shaitan, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned, if you go from the what is good to what is worst evil, something like this, and a person would do two good deeds. The shaitan would come to the person and whisper to him that to do a good deed that is lesser of reward than another good deed. And the shaitan is willing to be admonition and give admonition to the person, do this good deed. And a person would think, oh, mashallah, this sounds like a good thing. But it's a step of shaitan. This is something that it is one of the highest level of ilm that a person, with the ilm, a person would know this is more benefiting than this. So I would stay away from that. And then if he's constantly following the shaitan and this, then he takes him to the next level with regards to to do much of the mubah, what's permissible, work a lot, sleep too much, whatever there is, and it's also whisper shaitan. And you'd say to yourself, "Kul man harrama zinat Allah," who would forbid what Allah adorned for us? So it's halal, yes, it's halal, but be careful because He has a plan for you. The thing is that you don't make what's halal haram, don't forbid what Allah permitted for you, but to pay attention that the shaitan has a plan for you. So once you become busy with the mubah, then you become so much used to be bored from the ibadah or so, then he gets the person to the minor sins. Allah is the most forgiver. He is the most, look at the people, what they're doing. At least we're not doing these major evil things. This is all shaitan. Because if he comes from day one to make you drink alcohol, this is crazy. This is no way. So he has a long plan for the person. And then if he's satisfied in that state, he's already in it, then he takes him to the major sin. And then after the major sin, shirk or bid'ah or whatever, and then it doesn't matter what afterwards. And he even can come, he's still with all of this. This is the long plan. There's an immediate one, which is anything that he can get from anyone at any time. It's something better than nothing. He's in business. This is his business. So if a person is very righteous and he's walking in the streets, for example, and a woman passes by, he's going to, if he can get him to do whatever he wants, at least an instant sin, even if it's not going to be a continuous one, this is, why not? Or a word that he would say to someone, or even to whisper to commit a major sin from someone that is very righteous. Yes, he would do that, but that does not take away the long plan that he has. So that's why this is the thing of the shaitan, that he is making tazeen, making the adornment of evil to the people, but step by step. So the ilm, the knowledge, the holding fast to the deen of Allah, the taqwa of Allah, and the dua, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to see. And it's easy by the matters of it, and the tawbah and istighfar. Yes. As Ibn Qayyim mentioned, the last level of the steps of shaitan, that even prophets were not safe from it, he called it ubudiyatul muraghama. Al-muraghama is he will go to your enemies to whisper to them to come to you. What can you do about this? You cannot, this is not your actions. So he will go to, for example, a woman to go to that man, that he's being righteous and being good and everything like this, to be a fitna for him. He goes to his enemies to harm him, whispers to them to, this guy, do this and this to them. And this is even prophets of Allah, they were not safe from this, meaning from the plots of shaitan against them. But all of that is weak still if a person rely upon Allah and take in the means of strength. But yes, and even the issue of, as the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when a woman comes out and it's a shafa shaitan, when a man looks at a woman in the streets, that is not, of course, his wife or so, he adorns this woman in the eyes of that man. Or not, doesn't have to be in the streets, in your phone, in whatever place. She looks to yourself more beautiful than what she really is. And that's how the shaitan does. And he has the ability to this. And we, even when, as it's known, if you look at yourself in the mirror, no one would see himself so good in the mirror. You always see yourself, I don't look good, something like this. But in the eyes of others, you can look so good in the eyes of others. So this is valid to happen among the human beings. So he makes you see what the woman not in her real way image, so that a person would fall into the sin. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, the kafara to this is to go to one's wife, because she has what this woman has. So things like this. So the same thing was even matters of deen, bid'ah, or whatever ideas, and you find people fighting for it and things like this, and he adorns it to the people so much. But where is that with the ilm, with the deen? This is what makes things clear.